Hi everybody, this is Miss Nelson. I'm going to give you some practice subtracting mixed numbers where you have to regroup. So actually this first one right here, we don't really have to regroup. The main important thing that you need to remember is that you're always going to start with subtracting the fractions. So here, my fractions are 1/3 minus 1/3. I can do that. I can do 1 minus 1. That would be 0/3, and then I move to my big number. 8 minus 3 is 5. So saying 0/3, if you're in my class, I would not count this wrong, but you don't really, if it's a 0, you don't put anything there. So really the answer would be 5 wholes. Okay, now this next one you do have to borrow, because when I'm looking at my fractions, which is where I always start, it would say 3/10 minus 8/10. I cannot do 3 minus 8 without borrowing or regrouping. So the way that you do that is you borrow from the number in front, which will become an 8. Normally this is where kids mess up. They would bring a 1 over here and make this 13, but that's not what you do. When you are regrouping, you always look at what the denominator is, and you're going to add that to the numerator. So I have, since my denominator was 10, I will have 3 plus 10, which is 13. And now I can do my fractions. This will read 8 and 13/10 minus 4 and 8/10. And I can do 13/10 minus 8/10. 13 minus 8 is 5. Denominator stays the same. Then you do your whole numbers. So 8 minus 4 is 4. So the answer will be 4 and 5/10. Here's another example, starting with my fractions. I see it says 2/4 minus 3/4. I can't do 2 minus 3 without borrowing or regrouping. So I'm going to borrow here and make this a 6. And then I look at my denominator, it's a 4. So I add the 4 to my numerator. 2 plus 4 is 6. So now it reads 6 and 6/4 minus 1 and 3/4. 6/4 minus 3/4 is 3/4. And then my whole numbers, 6 minus 1 is 5. One more. Looking at my fractions, 4/12 minus 9/12. 4 is smaller than 9, so I'm going to have to borrow or regroup. So I cross out my 5 and make it a 4. Look at my denominator, it's a 12. So I'm going to add that to my 4. 12 plus 4 is 16. So now this reads 4 and 16/12 minus 3 and 9/12. I can do 16/12 minus 9/12. 16 minus 9 is 7. And the denominator stays the same. And then I do my whole numbers. 4 minus 3 is 1. Hope that helps.